up, Alex?
What's going on, Pastor?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I just wanted to get you guys. We just had a men's fellowship, and Alex came down from Tahoe, and I'm just like, man, before you head out, I was like, man, I'm gonna get you on here. Your wife was on here the last time.
Yeah, we were here with her. What's the question?
I just wanted to, as you guys know, if you guys don't know, first let me introduce. Alex is our leader, pastor of House of Rest Lake Tahoe. You and your wife, Veronica, and if in case they've gone to check out your channel, but if they don't know, it's on YouTube, because you guys live stream just like we do every Sunday.
Live stream. And it's on House of Rest Lake Tahoe. That's all. You just punch in, it'll come up on the YouTube channel. So
but it's at 6 o'clock every Sunday, so they can go live.
Yeah,
because you guys go live.
Yes.
And I didn't really want to ask you questions. I just wanted to just get you in for conversation.
Okay.
So, but I do have a question actually.
Yeah.
What's it been like? How long has House of Rest Lake Tahoe been in a Sunday service setting?
So September 4th of this last year, we started the church, and it started inside of a restaurant called Portales Jalisco. The thing with that, the way that this all came about, is this is how God wants to use everybody. So here's the thing, how it came about. I was in prayer one night, and I was asking the Lord, and I said that there's got to be more, because I felt like because we were ministering to youth at that point. We had been doing it for a couple years, and then we met Pastor David, and inside of me, I thought, I was thinking like there's got to be more, because the youth aren't listening. They're not paying attention. Yeah. I'm sitting up there giving them words and talking and telling them things about the Bible, and it just seemed like it was going through one ear and out the other. And so I got frustrated, and I think that a lot of people in ministry get frustrated, and they don't know what to do, and they don't know how to internally take all that in without having somebody like since I met you, like somebody to mentor you, somebody to tell you all of the things that could go wrong, that are going to go wrong, that are going to go right. And so in that case, I was just frustrated. So what happened was, one day I was on my face in the bathroom in my house, and I asked the Lord that there's got to be more. And I had a dream that night where we were cleaning sheep. Me and my wife were cleaning sheep, and we were putting them from one corral to another one, dirty to clean. And then I woke up knowing that I was gonna shepherd sheep. And even then, and that's when the Anna from the restaurant said, "Hey, I got my restaurant. Do you want to use it?"
Yeah, right.
Mind you, I never asked her for this. This was like God opening a door that nobody else was gonna be able to shut. And so, knowing you, I felt like I got thrown into it a little bit fast, but I said, okay, we're gonna do it, and so we ended up doing it, and exactly like Pastor David said, it was full for a couple of weeks, and then it just dropped.
Yeah.
And then now we have a solid, steady flow of people, mostly youth.
That's what's a trip, is mostly the fact youth. That the House of Rest Church, Lake Tahoe, started backwards than other churches. You guys started with youth.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, that's I'm sure it's happened before, but it's not the norm. So it's cool, because it just lets you know, man, God is a creative God. He can do whatever he feels like doing.
And the thing is with the youth, though, and because we kind of minister to the low income youth, so it's kind of hard, because we have to sustain the church ourselves. We got to pay our own rent. We got to do everything that needs to be paid in order to keep it going. But that's okay, because God is supplying us with the funds and with the ability to do that. But I mean, eventually, I believe, because every week there's like an extra 2 or 3. Like, my house is getting too full to do at my house, because we only got the church one day a week. So now I'm just praying for a building, because I can't do it in my house for very much longer.
So you guys right now, you're out of the restaurant and you're renting, like, what is that, like a mess hall from? It's a Presbyterian church, but they rent out that little.
They rent out
like a multi-purpose room or something, right?
Well, they rent out the bottom part, which they use it for like a broth, to feed the homeless.
Yeah,
like a soup kitchen.
But it's like a big room.
Yeah, but it's a huge room. It holds 150 people. And then upstairs at the chapel, which we could have probably used that, but I didn't want to use that chapel, because then it kind of associates us and puts us a name on us, and I don't, we're like you said, non-denomination. We just believe what the Bible says. So
So You know, like for those of you that don't know that are watching this, Lake Tahoe, for most of us here in Northern California, it is the vacation resort. It's the place you go to. You don't think about drugs or gangs or suicides or like us. We're like, oh, let's go to Tahoe to get away from that because of the beauty, the mountains, the lake, the snow, the skiing, But there's an underworld there. There's an underworld, and it seems like, at least from what you've shared with me, like a lot of the churches there, they're not ministering to those people, because there's people that live in Tahoe that are going through struggles, right? And are these the people you feel are left out of churches here?
Well, I believe, and I know in my heart that it's not just the people that are being left out from the church, but it's also the people in the church, because there's not a lot of change in the people that are actively in the church right now, and so now I'm seeing people that are from other churches that have came to our church, and they're like, well, wow, this is different.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is different. Like, it's not the same. They see that no other church in Tahoe does altar calls. No other church in Tahoe does.
Like, have you been to churches and they don't do altar calls?
Oh yeah.
Like, there's no call salvation.
I mean,
or
Pastor Allen in the one in church that we were going prior to this, before we started our church, he would do something like an altar call, but it wouldn't be an altar call. He would just say, repeat a prayer after me after he was done preaching, but he wouldn't do an altar call the way that we do it, and at the church.
I've heard some people say, and I believe it's true, that a lot of times we treat the altar call as if like just kind of like the last thing, instead of being the main thing.
Yeah, we should do it.
Because you have just had people worship, they've heard a message, and the altar call should be the call of, like, if something stirred your heart, if you got convicted, this is the moment right now to give your life to Jesus. And we need to take advantage of that time for people to, because it's not even just salvation. Sometimes people just need to rededicate. Sometimes people are hurting. And they just need that time with God.
Yeah, and you know what? Like last night, that guy that we saw at Denny, that's what he said. He's like, I just rededicated my life to God. And as far as what you were saying with the altar call, I feel like when I'll preach, right? I'll preach, and then at the end of the preaching, before I didn't know how to end a service, and I would just hand you the mic because you were gone for the first 6 weeks. But now that I feel like I have to try that much harder, because I'm like, nobody wants to come up right away, so I have to like stir something inside of them that makes them all get up, and then they come. Eventually they all come, but it's something that I think that at an altar call, everybody should just get up, just come to the front, because we all need deliverance, we all need prayer, we all need healing, we all need a blessing, because
or even just a moment of quiet with God.
Yeah, even that. But here's the thing: is that you guys got carpet. Ours is just a solid floor. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna buy some pads. So if you want to just spend time with God, just go get on your knees, get on your face, and just worship the Lord with a little bit of music. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Yeah. But everybody in Tahoe is broken, and that's what I've noticed. And every single time that for the past maybe 6 weeks at my house, there's been 2, maybe 1 to 2, maybe even 3 people that are new each time, and they're all break down. They're all tell us, they pull us to the side and they say, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, and then they're like, I don't know how to deal with it. And the only thing that helps, I know, is God, because I see the change after week 2, week 3, week 4, and it's like, we need it. We need it out there. And
I just when I learned to preach in prison. And I don't know how state, because you've been a state, I've been in the feds. Yeah. They have every hour they have a 5-minute movement. Do you guys have that, or do you know what that means?
Not every hour. I mean,
but you know what, like a 5-minute movement, or did they have? Okay, like for us, all day long you can be out in the yard if you want, or you can go to the chapel, or you can go to the basketball and handball courts, or you can go to. There's different areas in the prison, and it's controlled movement. So if you go to your unit during movement and the movement ends, now you can't leave your unit to the next hour. Oh, okay. And then it's another move. Then you can go to the chapel. And once you're in the chapel, you're stuck there for the next hour. And so there's every hour there's a 5-minute movement. And so I learned to preach between the movements. So when I learned to preach, we didn't have altar calls. I would just preach until the thing rang. until the next movement rang, and then it's like, oh, all right, let's grab our Bibles and get back to the unit. So I didn't learn how to do altar calls. So I used to really struggle. And then when I started the church, if you go back to the first year, I would literally preach my heart out, and then I look and I'd be like, well, guys, that's it. Let's just bow our heads. Lord, thank you for the service. Like, you know?
No, I get it.
Yeah, and I struggled, man. And then my little brother, who was in ministry 10 years before me, I was going through something in my personal life, and I asked my brother to come and assist me, because he was an assistant pastor in the Tracy Grace Church with Pastor Doug. And him and his wife came, and I would pass him the mic, because he had been doing altar calls for 10 years at a church of 800 people. You know, so honestly, it was a blessing, but it wasn't, because I'll tell you what, by him doing the altar calls, I got lazy. See, I instead of taking the time, like, I didn't get thrown out there, so I didn't learn in prison, and then I didn't learn the year I did the church, and then my brother comes in for a couple of years, and he's doing altar. So I would preach, and then I'd have pass the mic, so he'd do the altar call. And finally, when Sharon came, and I got married with Sharon, and he saw that things were balancing out, he's like, hey, we're gonna start a house church in Manteca, where he lives. And I had, again, so now I'm years into pastoring, and I'm now having to learn altar calls. I struggled with that.
I passed the mic how many times? Every single week until the last week, right? I think it was the one time that I did.
And it wasn't 8 weeks, it was more.
Was it?
Yeah, we were together for 3 months.
Oh, okay, well, 12 weeks. But here's the thing, is that when I would pass the mic to you, I would watch and I would hear what you would say, or I would see how you would do it. And I knew that there was going to be a day soon in the near future that I was going to have to do it. So what I would just pay attention, I would see, and then I would see your services, and I would see how you end it. Yeah. And it's always something, and I always noticed that it's something that caught somebody's attention. Yeah. Something, because here's the thing, is that the struggles of life will catch people's attention because everybody else is going through them. So we have to say something into that effect. That's what I do. Yeah. And then people are like, oh, wait, look what he just said. And then they start coming up. Once one comes up, the rest follow.
You know what helped me? Real quick. This helped me, and it wasn't even from my brother. A brother said, he goes, you know how you start out with the Bible verse? Yeah. Your sermon? Mm-hmm. He goes, I bring it all the way around. I preach, and then I come back to that verse. And I reread it, and I use that to kind of get the altar call started. And that made so much sense to me. I know. And I think I might have shared that with you.
You shared it with me, and I try that, but because I'm still new to it, I'm like going so fast, and I'm going, and my mind's just thinking that at the end, more than 9 out of 10 times I forget to do that, and to bring it full circle. But yes, I do want to probably end it like that, because I want to end it how I started it. Yeah, it's just my mind, you know. I mean, I think they have been getting better, way better, because the first time I can tell, I can hear it in my voice. I can hear. I don't know. I felt like the whole restaurant was shaking, but it was my knees. I think it was. But now it's getting a little easier. It's getting a little better.
And I love that you're sharing, because there's people that are watching that they know they're called to preach. They know they're called to start a Bible study, house church, whatever. And maybe after hearing me talk about it, but I've been doing it for so long that they're hearing you with the fresh experience. No, you know,
it's really hard, and I'm just barely right now stepping out in faith, because and to the point where I feel the Holy Spirit come upon me, and then I'll speak a word to somebody, and then I'll tell them, and I'll give them an example. I'll be like, look, what I just spoke to you, this is what God gave me for you. And then I'll tell them, like, example, like my wife, right? Somebody spoke 2 years ago that she was going to be leading worship, and she's like, no. I can't even talk on a mic. And then 2 years into it, she stepped into it, not even knowing that was going to happen. And
that's the way it works. You know, I'm like, maybe just this last year, because I learned to hear the voice of God a long time ago. It helped me go. When I joined the Bible college, it helped me a lot to kind of, and I realized, man, I've been hearing you all along, Lord. Yeah. But it kind of helped me realize I was hearing. It was confirmation. Yeah. But I have been feeling more confident maybe this last year. I don't know if because of the pandemic, I don't know what it was, the desperation in people and doing funerals and people sick. And I don't know. I just like, because sometimes I would hear, I would think I heard God like at the altar call. And I'm like, God, that makes no sense. I'm not gonna say that to this person, but I'm just like, Lord, I'm just gonna trust you because it doesn't have to make sense to me. It could be something weird, it could be like, hey, I don't know if this makes sense to you, but the Lord said that your shield has dents, but it still holds. Like, let's say just like that. And I'm like, that makes no sense to me. Not knowing that person was maybe praying and they had a dream of themselves with the shield or something,
Yeah, no.
And they're like, how did you know that? But if I don't trust in God, they would have never got that word. Mm-hmm. I would have never said it. They would have never received that blessing of confirmation. You know what I mean? So we have to learn to just quiet ourselves. And I've been learning to do that more and more this last year.
I'll give an example of that too. So this last youth group, I've gotten to the point where I can just, things will come out when I'm praying for somebody. And before I used to struggle with that. And now that I know that I can just pray for somebody without having the fear that what's going to come out, or what am I going to say, or how am I going to say it? Now I just let it flow. I was praying for somebody at the youth group, and they came up, they asked for it, so we were praying, me and my wife, and as I was praying, I started stuttering, and that's not like me. And then my train of thought went completely blank, and I'm thinking like, Lord, what is going on? Like, why am I nothing coming to me? And then just a few words came to me, and I said, I don't know why I keep stuttering. I said, I don't know why I don't know what to say. I said, but there's a few things that just came to my mind, and I said, I think the Lord wants you to know this. And I told them that, and then they pulled me aside and said, you're right.
Wow.
They're like, I'm struggling with this, this, and this. And I said, well, I think God wants you to let that out.
Yeah.
Don't keep it inside.
Wow.
But it was good. I mean, God wants to talk to everybody.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I didn't want to stay really long, but I did want to take the opportunity because, if they watch, they just watch you preach, but they don't really hear you kind of talk like this and whatnot. And I want them to get to know you better. And maybe they don't watch, and maybe they will now because, they're watching this in this channel and they're like, oh, let me check it out. Me and Sharon love you and Veronica, man. We just from the moment we met, guys, I was given their number by a mutual friend and told, hey, this couple, they really want to do ministry and they have nobody. And I remember texting, and it happened to be Veronica's phone, I think, or her messenger or something. And she goes, she was, my husband's asleep. She goes, but can we talk tomorrow? And the next day I called and we just talked, and then you guys came down to meet with us. And ever since then, man, and it's just a trip because I didn't know at that time. I didn't know you were also an ex-con. I didn't know you were also a gangbanger. I didn't know also that, and so our lives are very similar. And obviously because of the experiences in that life, I think it has a connection now. But I'm really blessed, man. I'm blessed, and I feel like you guys are my family, and it's just weird how that can happen because it's crazy because Jesus can bring two strangers together, and because we're under Christ, it's a huge family. It's a kingdom. And that's why I always told Sharon, I was like, man, we can go anywhere in the world, and no matter what, we will never go hungry because we're always going to be able to find a brother or sister, a church, a Bible study, and be like, hey, I believe in Jesus, and they're not gonna turn you away. They shouldn't. And that's a beautiful thing, that knowing that we can go anywhere in the world and find a believer somewhere.
I had somebody from the last church where we were at. He came in. He went on vacation or something, and then he got stranded. And then somebody was supposed to pick him up. He wasn't from here. He was from like Canada or something. And he walked into the church knowing that there was going to be somebody that was going to extend it. And he told me, and I said, absolutely, bro. We're going to figure something out. And we did, and we got him back home. But and then I got his number and everything. But here's the thing is that, like you said, you're always going to find family. Because we're an extended family. There's so many of us everywhere. And the ones that are true are always going to be there for us. So,
But guys, I just wanted to just have a little conversation here with Alex, and I just want to thank you guys for viewing and hanging out with us and watching us. Subscribe to House of Rest Lake Tahoe. That's the YouTube channel.
And we're gonna start also doing like podcasts with the kids, because I know that a lot of parents and a lot of the kids are struggling, and our kids have come like it's from like night and day what they've done since they accepted the Lord, or even if they're struggling, but they're trying to accept the Lord, and they've gone. It's been just amazing to see these kids, the way how far they've come. So once we start doing that, you know, it'll be probably like 30-minute podcast with the kids.
That'd be awesome.
I have everything started set up in my house, so we're gonna start doing it here pretty soon.
Yeah, and if you're in the Lake Tahoe area, it's House of Rest, Lake Tahoe.
I don't remember the address.
I know you don't remember the address.
2730 7133. I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you right now the address.
Let's get it right now.
But while he's looking, are you gonna look for it?
Yeah, I'll look for it.
Okay, while he's looking for it, because like I said, they have youth at their house, and then they were at a restaurant, but now they're at a building, and he's still getting used to the address, guys. But if you're in the Lake Tahoe area, if you're in Carson, if you're in Placerville, anywhere in that area, come visit them. You know, come visit them and let them know, hey, I saw you on the video, and I really want to come and support and fellowship and whatnot. And we are a Grace International Church, so it's also under the umbrella of Grace. If you're in the Reno area, we have Pastor Rick. Leave a comment, and I'll put the address for that church. It's called Living Waters Church. And then in Yerington, Nevada, that's also a Grace International Church right there in Yerington. We have a church in
2733. Okay.
2733
Lake Tahoe Boulevard.
It's a Presbyterian church with a big cross.
Big giant white cross outside.
Yeah, but so what you do is drive in the driveway to the back.
Yeah.
And that's where you guys are at 6:00 every Sunday.
Yeah.
But for those of you, since you're on, if you are in Northern California and looking for a Grace International Church, there's one in Fairfield. There's Tracy. There is Redding, remember?
Redding, with Pastor Dennis.
Yeah, Pastor Dennis. We have Stockton. We have, who else? I know I'm leaving somebody out here. Livermore.
Livermore, yeah.
Yeah, Pastor Larry and Livermore. There's 9 of us in the Northern District for Grace International, guys. And again, you could go to their website. It's www.grace/international.tv, and it gives you a church locator.
Yeah.
You know. But anyways, guys, God bless you. Thank you so much. And thanks, Alex, for hanging out.
All right, you guys.
All right. See you later.